Get ready, travelers, because Genshin Impact version 6.3 is shaping up to be absolutely enormous. I'm not just talking about your average "oh hey, a new patch" kind of update. Whoa. This one looks like it's about to hit us like a hilichurl charging with a flaming club. We're talking Rite fireworks, major story bombs, new 5-star characters, a premium skin for our beloved Hydro Dragon Daddy, and maybe even map expansions that will have you climbing mountains until your stamina bar cries for mercy. If you thought version 6.2 had you glued to your screen, 6.3 might just be the one where your family wonders if you've actually moved into Teyvat full-time. So let's start with the timing. Version 6.3 is expected to drop around late January or early February 2026, right when Rite usually rolls around. Rite, if you're new, is basically Genshin's version of New Year's fireworks, but with a side of free stuff that makes every traveler's eyes light up brighter than Liyue Harbor at night. We're talking intertwined fates, Primogems, ascension materials, and even a free 4-star character. Yes, free. You know it's good when you don't have to do math about pity counts. You just get handed a shiny new team member. Rite is always a big deal, but pair it with a major story update. And this year it could feel like Hoyoverse threw a second birthday party for the entire community. Now let's get to the headline everyone's buzzing about. Navilette. That's right, our Hydro Daddy himself is rumored to be getting a premium 5-star skin. And not just any skin, oh no. This one could come with unique, idle animations, sparkly new visual effects, and maybe even some tweaks to his Hydro abilities. Imagine pulling off his burst and it looks like a fountain show in Fontaine Square. Remember when Dialek got his Batman glow-up and suddenly every tavern brawler wanted to cosplay? Or when Kuching rocked her Lunar New Year outfit and single-handedly raised the bar for elegance? Navilette is about to join that club, and trust me, this is the kind of drip that makes you consider skipping meals just to save up for Genesis crystals. It's only the third 5-star skin in the entire game, which makes it about as rare as a day when your resin is actually capped because you forgot to log in. But what's a patch without new characters? And oh boy, do we have some big ones. Enter Colombina, the third Fatui Harbinger, also known as the Damsel or, and I love this one, the Goddess of the Frost Moon. Doesn't that just sound like a boss track waiting to happen? Colombina is rumored to be a Hydro support with mechanics that might shake up how we think about team synergies. No more cookie cutter, stick her in a freeze team and call it a day. Otherwise, this isn't just a cameo. Her debut could tie directly into some of the most important story beats of Nodcry, possibly linked with the White Horse Adeptus. Which brings me to the next huge reveal. The White Horse Adeptus. A name that's been floating around since version 1.0. Yes, back when Amber was still sitting in everyone's party because you didn't have anyone better to shoot balloons in Mondstadt's festival minigames. This Adeptus has been tied to Istaroth, to time, and to mysteries that Genshin fans have been theorizing about for years. And now they might finally be playable. Speculation points to them being an Anemo unit, but not your typical swirly-whirly I-group enemies and shred resistance kind of Anemo. Whoa. They might actually bring buffs based on party composition, which could completely change how people build teams. Imagine an Anemo support that makes you think strategically about who you bring instead of just tossing in Kazuha because he's Kazuha. This could be the patch where Anemo stops being just the swirly element and becomes something much deeper. And speaking of big names, let's not forget the Archons. Hoyoverse loves to sprinkle them into major patches, and there are whispers that we could see a rerun of Furina or even Murata, the Pyro Archon. Nothing's confirmed, of course. Take it like a puff of dandelions in the wind, light, fun, and not set in stone. But if an Archon does show up, you know everyone's Primogems are doomed. So maybe don't go all in on that weapon banner just yet. Now let's talk about the map. Rumors suggest we might get an expansion in Liyue, specifically around Blackcliff Forge. That's right, the place where your crafting dreams go to die when you realize you don't actually need another prototype weapon. Imagine exploring this area as a proper map zone, filled with Urvane's enemies, and maybe even quests that finally explain who runs this whole forge operation. It might not sound flashy at first, but map expansions always mean new treasures, new chests, and let's be real, new ways to die because you accidentally fell off a cliff chasing a crystal fly. And then there's the story. This is where version 6.3 really feels like it's going to shine. The narrative is expected to pick up threads from Duran's arc in 6.2 and weave them into something much bigger, tying into Colombina's arrival and the White Horse Adeptus' debut. We're talking lunar themes, time shenanigans, Adepti lore, and probably at least one cutscene that leaves you staring at your screen wondering how a gacha game just emotionally broke you. Some whispers even suggest Zhongli might appear in a new light, possibly tied into these lunar powers. Again, take this lightly, but imagine our stoic Geo daddy suddenly having connections to the moon. That would be wild. All in all, this patch is looking stacked. Free Lantern Rite goodies. A 5-star skin for Navilette that will have fashion critics crying. Colombina bringing Harbinger drama straight into our parties. The White Horse Adeptus finally stepping out of the shadows of lore and into the actual game. Possible Archon reruns to obliterate your savings. Map expansions in Liyue. And a storyline that could redefine how we see both Adepti and the Fatui. If that doesn't sound like a major update, I don't know what does. So, travelers, let's be honest. Version 6.3 is probably going to be expensive. Between skins, banners, and maybe a rerun or two, your Primogem stash is going to vanish faster than a sea lie when you get close. But it also looks like one of those updates that people will look back on and say, yeah, that's when Genshin hit another high point. It's the kind of patch that pulls in veterans, tempts returning players, and makes newbies wonder why they didn't start earlier. Now I want to hear from you. Are you saving for Colombina? Are you hyped for the White Horse Adeptus? Are you already planning how to justify Navilette's 5-star skin to your wallet? Drop your thoughts in the comments because misery loves company, and I need to know who else is going broke in February. If you enjoyed this little deep dive into version 6.3, make sure to hit that like button so the algorithm knows you're ready for Lantern Rite fireworks. Subscribe if you haven't already because we're going to keep breaking down all the big Genshin updates. And ring that bell so you don't miss out. Until next time, may your pulls be lucky, your resin never capped, and your Lantern Rite fireworks always light up your screen. See you in Teyvat.